Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hi, I'm Kara Berry, host of Everyone's Business But Mine. Think of me as your friend and fellow busybody as I talk about everything under the pop culture sun, from how to detect if Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson are back together based on the kind of IG stories she posts, to recapping your favorite reality shows from Sister Wives to Vanderpump Rules, Welcome to Plathville, The Housewives Cinematic Universe, and so much more. So check me out. Everyone's Business But Mine airs 3 times a week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
On today's Smart 7, US troops killed in strike on Jordan base, Kemi rules herself out of Rishi race, and lots more. It's Monday 29th of January, it's Bubble Wrap Day, and happy birthday, Oprah Winfrey.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Friday saw a provisional ruling made by the International Court of Justice in South Africa's genocide case against Israel, and it was a pretty damning result. While they stopped short of calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, the court ordered Israel to take more measures to protect Palestinian civilians and prevent public incitement to genocide. It has made things awkward for some of Israel's allies, like the UK and the US, who had both disparaged South Africa's case. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa explains why they brought the case to the ICJ.
We are also a people who were the victims of the crime of apartheid. We know what apartheid looks like.
Things escalated on Sunday after a drone attack on a US military outpost in Jordan killed 3 American soldiers and injured at least 25 more. The US says the attack was carried out by Iranian-backed militia. It's the first time US troops have been killed by enemy fire during the Israel-Hamas conflict, and US President Biden, speaking in South Carolina, vowed to respond at a time and place of his choosing.
One last thing I want to point out that we had a tough day last night in the Middle East. We lost 3 brave souls in an attack on one of our bases, and we shall respond.
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak looks to be on thin ice after a week of Tory party infighting has left many wondering how long he'll last in the post. He's been facing criticism after polling figures suggest the Tories could be headed for a crushing election defeat this year. Things came to a head last week when former Levelling Up Secretary Simon Clarke wrote an article for The Telegraph calling for Rishi to be ousted. Business Secretary Kemi Badenoch and Leader of the House Penny Mordaunt have both been tipped to replace him, but Kemi's ruled herself out of the running and says she's sticking by Rishi.
So yes, one person wrote an article saying that he was unhappy. I called him after that and asked him what on earth he was doing, because this is exactly the sort of thing that we have to stop doing in public. But to play all that in front of, in front of the public is contributing to the belief that we are more focused on internal matters than external matters.
Not everyone believes that, including former Cabinet Minister and Boris ally Nadine Dorries, who says Kemi's really out for herself.
Kemi Badenoch, Robert Jenrick and others, what they are out for is themselves. They are not out for the benefit of the individuals in the country and the citizens. They are serving themselves, and Kemi Badenoch is one of those people,
well, I would remind...
because they want to be both Prime Minister and leader of the Conservative Party.
It's been a weekend in the spotlight for Business Secretary Kemi Badenoch. On Sunday, she confirmed the sacking of Post Office Chairman Henry Staunton after only 1 year in the role. The Post Office has come under intense scrutiny in recent weeks due to the fallout from the Horizon IT scandal, which has been called the biggest miscarriage of justice in British history. But Labour's Kevin Jones says that Horizon might not have been the only faulty IT system affecting the Post Office.
There's now potentially another scandal which caused another computer system called Capture, which was before Horizon. I think the pathetic appearance a couple of weeks ago of Nick Reed, the chief executive of the Post Office, I think shows that there's not a change of culture in terms of how the Post was being run.
Joe Biden has received plenty of flack about his age, and at 81 he's the oldest president in US history. But now voters are beginning to question whether his predecessor and would-be successor, Donald Trump, is past his sell-by date too. Trump had a tough weekend with a judgment of $83 million against him in the E. Jean Carroll defamation case and fresh attacks on his competence by primary rival Nikki Haley. President Biden was getting in on the action too, calling him out for confusing Haley and Pelosi in a New Hampshire speech and calling Trump to account over his remarks on the US economy.
He wants to see the economy crash this year. Well, he said when there's a crash, I hope in the next 12 months, he went on to say, well, let me tell you what he really means. Donald Trump knows this economy is good and strong and getting stronger. He knows that while it's good for America, it's bad for him politically.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, Liverpool faces the loss of Klopp and Paul Mescal books his next role. Right after this.
Get the best workout with the best-kept secret in fitness. Hydro, the state-of-the-art at-home rower. Hydro engages 86% of your muscles, delivering the ultimate full-body workout in just 20 minutes. From advanced to beginner, Hydro has over 4,000 classes that are shot all over the world and are taught by Olympians and world-class athletes. For a 30-day risk-free trial with free standard shipping, go to hydro.com and use code ROW500 to save up to $500. That's HYDROW.com, code ROW500.
Welcome back.
This weekend saw semi-professional Maidstone United continue their incredible FA Cup run, beating Championship side Ipswich Town 2-1. They'll be joined in the fifth round by a number of top sides, including defending FA Cup champions Man City and Premier League leaders Liverpool. But the main talking point of the weekend was Jurgen Klopp's surprise announcement on Friday that he'll be stepping down as Liverpool manager at the end of the season, after almost 9 years in charge. Speaking before Sunday's game against Norwich City, Klopp says he's not going to let the rest of the season turn into a farewell tour.
There's nothing additional. We cannot now create every week somehow a special story and do this for the coach and do this for the boss. It's not necessary. The boys played the way they played without knowing anything. They will win all the games, but it will not be the reason for not winning a football game. We go forward, and there will be a moment at the end of the season where we say goodbye, and it will be emotional, but between now and then we have a massive job to do.
Irish heartthrob Paul Mescal made an appearance on Chicken Shop Dates this weekend with Amelia de Moldenberg. The All of a Stranger's star talked about his recent introduction to Guinness, astrology and his past as a Gaelic football player. And he might even have booked his next role after Amelia tested him out with a very real rom-com script that she's definitely been writing.
You just read the script.
Wow, Amelia, you look so beautiful today. I've never in my life seen someone so gorgeous in a chicken shop. I always used to think people who believed in love at first sight were stupid until now.
Cool. So
Great, did I get it?
If you just start reading the script now.
Just 18 months after The Greatest Beer Run Ever first hit screens, director Peter Farrelly and actor Zac Efron have reunited again for another movie. Ricky Stanicky sees Zac joined by Andrew Santino and Jermaine Fowler to play a trio of childhood besties who've been blaming their imaginary friend Ricky for their misdemeanors for almost 20 years. With their families becoming suspicious, Zac enlists the help of washed-up actor Rod, played by John Cena, to pose as the real Ricky Stanicky, and chaos ensues. It'll be released on Amazon Prime on March 7th, and the trailer's just dropped, so mark your calendars.
You should drive out there. Ricky's been there for you guys your whole lives.
Atlantic City, here we come. Ricky Stanicky. The best friend we never had.
You know, all we did was tell one lie.
Hundreds and hundreds of times over many, many years.
If the truth does come out, my marriage is over.
What if we hire an actor to play Stanicky?
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.